Hello everybody, welcome back to another edition of the EcoStruxure Machine Expert HVAC. I'm your host Leandro Mada, and in this video what we're gonna see is how we can protect our application. By protection I mean that it's not like having a password in your project that doesn't allow you to open it once you got the project. What I meant is that even if someone has managed to get the binary code from the controller and put it in another controller, they are not allowed to use the program, okay, because it's protected. Because the inside the controller we have a specific place that you can define a password, and using a function block we can disable the use of the controller. Okay, so let's go to the application or to the presentation just to know more about this. So if we press this, okay, so inside the PLC, if we go to the commissioning tab, we should be able to see this folder, protection password. Okay, this protection password, okay, is a 32-bit double word that basically you can set your own password here. Once you define the password that you have, okay, there is a function in the controller that compares this information you have in this register with one entry of this function block. If the result is correct, it matches, it means that the application can still run. Otherwise, the PLC will go into watchdog, okay, and it will reboot and reboot and reboot. So if you put this in the controller and someone's grabbed the application inside and put it in another one, it will not work because they don't know the password unless someone provides the password. That's not the point. So if you take a look, by default, okay, this register has in all of the bits the number 1. So the code would be this one. That's why you have this number. Okay, if you take a look, all the bits inside this double word is 1. One thing that we can do here, okay, by default all of them are in 1. This indication that is one-time programmable is partially true. What it means is that you have this double word, and what it allows you is to change from 1 to 0 the bits that you want, okay, but you cannot go back from 0 to 1. Okay, so you can write multiple times, okay, but only changes the 1 to 0. So for example, you change the first bit from 1 to 0, and then you just write again the same number, but changing also another bit that you have over there. Okay, so a better explanation of this would be like this one. So I have, this is the default, okay, the default, and then I'm going to change some of the bits. Okay, I'm going to write to this one. So I change this position and I change this position. Okay, if I want to send to the controller, let me just hide myself, another value like this one, okay, you can see that this value, okay, is 1, okay, and this is not allowed. You can write the other ones, okay, to change from 1 to 0, but if you have already changed this to 0 to 1, this software doesn't allow you, the controller doesn't allow you. So if you want to change another bit, you will need to send, for example, send the same bits that you have already changed, okay, and also the other ones that you want from 1 to 0, okay. So basically, if you already have an application, you want to only set a password just one time, okay. So I explained you this just to be aware. It's one-time programmable, yes, for each bit that you have over there, okay. So the process in order to change this is, okay, I got the PLC that is gonna, for example, you have already developed the program, okay. So you have the empty controller. What you need to do, the first thing that you need to do is to go to the commissioning tab, select the communication, select the protection password, select here the field in order to enter the new password. So you're going to enter the new password here, and then you just write the value. Simple as that. Okay, this is the configuration that you have. So one good thing here is that if you're trying to read this, for example, using IO scanner for all the controller, or using Modicon in order to read this register, okay, you always are going to receive the FFF. Okay, it doesn't matter if you change something, you just receive the information like all the bits are in true. Okay, which is good because this part is protected. Okay, and you cannot read from this because it's only write only. Okay, so even if you change this here and trying to read it, it's not going to be possible. So you need to remember which was your password. Otherwise, if you don't know the password and you're trying to implement this power protection, it's going to be useless. So one question, why cannot read? Well, I already mentioned this. This password is only read, is write only. So if you're trying to read it, it's not going to be possible. It's not going to be possible. We cannot read the actual password. Otherwise, there is no point protecting the application and controller. This is true. So now we have already set our password. What we need to do is to use this function block called sys execution password. Okay, that is located in the operator blocks. If you're not able to see these operators and blocks, then you can go to the Windows and select how to open it. So let me just show you the application. This is going to be the last result. Okay, but view to Windows, and here you have the operators and blocks. If you scroll down here, just move it. Okay, you have the target blocks, and here you should be able to see execution password. If you right click over here and select object properties, you should be able to see in the property windows over here more information about this function. Okay, and if you saw over here, okay, it compares the password. If it's okay, you can go on with the program. If it's false, a watch does occur, so the PLC will restart. Okay, and every time you're trying to execute this, it will restart, and the PLC is not going to be operable again. Okay, so which is good for someone to try to steal your project that copy the program inside. Okay, there is a few ways to disable that part. If you're using Ethernet, okay, using the FTP, you can disable that, but this is good to protect your application. So if you don't have also the property windows, you just need to go view to Windows and property window. So let's continue with the application. So we already identify where is located this function block that compares the internal password with the one that we're going to define. Here we have an entry in this function block that must be a dword variable or a constant value. I usually recommend to use a constant value because the password, when you define the password, is going to be protected. Nobody should know it. And then if the application located in the controller is only the binary code, there is no one who can actually read what you have in there. Okay, so that's the magic of having this constant value over here. That's why you can use it. So if the value is true, match correctly, false, watch will occur, and the controller will boot again. Okay, now one thing that it can happen, okay, is that imagine that you put this sys execution block in one of the tasks. Okay, if you put it like this, okay, with the constant value of using the word variable, okay, the PLC will compare the value they have in the input with what you have. And if it's all right, okay, you can continue with the application. But if it's wrong, okay, it will constantly boot. So it will start booting, load the program, the HMI, and then boot again, and boot again. And if you really need to, for example, from the point of view that's trying to steal your program, it's not going to be operable, that PLC anymore. So what you can do is to have some kind of condition that creates a delay. Okay, so you, for example, you can show in the actual display the name of your company, the contact details, and then after some time create the reboot. Okay, so that's one thing that you can do. So the first thing that we need to do after adding the execution password is to right click over here and add the enable output, so we can have this input over here, and here we can create our logic to make the delay. So one solution, this is just one solution, what I think is good. It can be good, but you can change the logic that you want. Okay, so you can add a timer, for example, this T on. I have created the instant delay over here. Okay, the T on can be found in the library tree. Select this one, project file, basic, and here you have the timers, and I have defined this T on. So here, what it does is to, based on the input, wait some time and then activate the output. Okay, so this is what you can do. This is what I show you. So we can put this true, okay, because every time the PLC is going to reboot, this will start with the true. Okay, so it will start the delay. Here you can define your delay time. Remember that this delay is in milliseconds, so here it's going to be 30 seconds until we make the comparison. Okay, and here I add additional variables, okay, that allows us to see what's going on, okay, in the booted process. In case you want to create that a loading bar in the HMI, you can do that. And here you have some condition. That's what is optional. This one also, just to enable something in the logic that you want. Okay, and here you can specify a constant value. As you can see here, I use the hexadecimal instead of using the long number. Okay, it's going to be much easier in this way, at least for me, to do it. Okay, and here is going to be the result. Here you can link this output to the beginning of each part of your code, or not. It will depend on you, but it will be good, for example, once you have this one in true, you can enable the use of the outputs or the read and the inputs. It's up to you how you want to manage this part of the code. And this is what you need to put this information. So once you have defined the password protection, oops, where is my mouse? I cannot find it. Oh, there we go. So once you have defined it, this password is the one that should be over here. Okay, so these are the steps and how we can work with this. I'm going to show you just with one new controller that, well, it's not new, but I never done this in this controller. So the first thing that we need to do is to open our application, okay, go to the commissioning, and then set the new password that we want, okay. And then what we need to do is to create this logic and put it on the controller, okay. So at the moment, okay, this PLC is, as I mentioned before, doesn't have anything at all. Let me see. Okay, so just reduce this a little bit more so you can see that I'm online with the controller. So what I'm going to do, okay, you can see this is the application that I have with the PLC and it's in running. Okay, so what I'm going to do now to show you, this is the controller. So what I'm going to do now is to reboot the controller. Okay, and what I need to do, okay, so I'm going to disconnect the USB cable. Just bear with me. Disconnect from my computer. Now I'm going to power cycle this. Okay, now I'm going to put it again. So I can show you what I have done. Okay, here the code is the default one. As you can see, all the bits in true. Here is the loading process. Okay, so you can set the name of the company at the top and then the contact details, and there you can see the loading bar, and you can enable using this load finish the thing that you want. Okay, I haven't connected USB. Okay, as you can see, it's the loading, and then it's finished and start your application. So this is something that you can do. Okay, but this is going to be the end result. Okay, when the PLC is brand new. So what I'm going to do now is to already connect to the controller. Okay, what I'm going to do is to connect to the controller. What I want is to set a new password. Okay, so here what I want is to set a new password. So only changing this bit. Okay, so I need to use this one. Copy and paste. So everything goes well. Okay, so wish me luck. Now if I put this one, let's check if it's all right. 2147483647. Okay, I should be able to write this into the controller. Okay, and write. Okay, so this is the new number that I got. Okay, as you can see, as soon as I change this, the PLC, okay, has boot because it's trying to compare the new value. So if you take a look now, after the 30 seconds, the PLC would boot again because the password is different. Okay, so we go back over here and try to connect. Okay, you can see it's trying to boot. Now it's going to compare with the previous value and it would go to fault. Okay, and we'll restart. And there we go, error again. So what I need to do is to change this. What was the value? 7F. So I'm going to use the 7F over here. And if I can do it this quickly, okay, this will work automatically. Just hope for this to finish. There we go. So let's go back here. Now it's trying to compare this value. And there we go. Hello world again. Okay, so this is what I have done. Okay, in order to create some kind of protection of the application using what we got in the M172. Okay, so this is just the part of the logic, okay, for the PLC, but the interface use different things. As you can see here, I'm using this variable and this one just to show the bar progression. Okay, so I have created the commissioning, the it is finished, okay, delay finish, and the delay time, which is the actual time that is for the loading bar. So I use those values over here. Okay, delay time, and in order to finish, okay, this one is going to be the default screen. If you go to variables, no, here I have created a procedure that reads the information from the controller. Okay, I have created a constant variable and I will assign the, I will call this address valid. Okay, has the information from this one, okay, that has the indication that the loading has finished. So this one over here, the 12002, is used in this variable over here. That is a constant. Valid. Okay, so I use, my bad, I use this one, the low finish. Okay, just a comparison at the end, and that one is the one that changed to the other screen. Okay, so I made a comparison. I have over here, and what I do is to create a virtual key, HMI actions, that point me to open page to another screen that I want, which is this one, the welcome page. Hello world. Okay, that's simple as that. I'm going to share this project just for you to have it, but the idea here is that you understand that how you can protect your application. So it doesn't matter if you left the binary code on the controller and someone can copy and paste in another one. If they don't have the password to use on the BIOS parameter, the PLC will boot every time. Okay, so that's the goal for this part. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I see you on the next one.